So for example, with mulled wine, we can make these, we will start making it in September, and then depending on the weather, consumption will be high or low for the season. So as we come into October and November, we start to trim our production levels so that we come out of Christmas with no stock. And importantly, our retailers come out of Christmas with no stock of mulled wine.
Hey guys, this is Sid Patel, CEO of International Bulk Wine and Spirit Show, San Francisco and London. We are live in London here, day one of the International Bulk Wine and Spirit Show. I'm here with Mark Lansley, one of the leading producers, bottlers, suppliers to the chain markets here in London and UK. And we're going to touch base on some interesting subjects like sustainability mainly, and how can you be so relevant and time the market and take advantage? So that's exactly what Mark has done, and I'll have him speak a little bit about Broadland.
Thanks, Sid.
And where we are, and what's your theory behind showcasing these amazing products?
Well, thanks, Sid. We have a range of packaging formats that we pack in the UK, bringing in bulk wine from overseas and putting in lighter weight bottles. That helps. Moving into can reduces carbon footprint. Then frugal bottles. This is a new packaging format that is very low carbon. It's about 1/6 the carbon footprint of a glass bottle.
Wow.
And then bag in box. And we can do these in different shapes. Very useful for seasonal products. But this is very low carbon footprint. And as well, we've got imported wine, and then we've got locally fermented wines like mulled wines and sangrias that we're fermenting. So it's a one-stop shop for cutting carbon, Sid.
Great. So let's go on the theory behind coming up with this SKU. I want to pick your brains on what kind of data you collect. When do you decide that it's time? Let's listen again. Let's come up with what people want, or it's literally an inbound request from your client Tesco, let's say, or Aldi, asking you this.
It's a good question. So there's two strands to our business. Strand one is we develop our own brands. So these are our own brands, these three, and these are things that we think make sense. So a mulled wine in a house-shaped box for folk to take home. Amazing. These are our own ideas. Then on the other side of our business is private label and own label for retailer chains, where they'll come to us and they'll say, we would like a canned wine, we would like small minimum order quantities, we don't want a large amount. So we'll put a label on it, it's a lower MOQ. So we're very flexible, and there's two sides to our business.
So on this, right, for the supply, because it's a very seasonal product.
Yes.
Want to pick your brains for other CEOs out there. So for me, if it's seasonal, I'm thinking as we spoke, may hay while sun shines. So
yes.
Is margin a very important thing? Because you can't play volume game with a seasonal thing.
This is where, again, sustainability intersects with good financial and stock control sense. So for example, with mulled wine, we can make these, we will start making it in September, and then depending on the weather, consumption will be high or low for the season. So as we come into October and November, we start to trim our production levels so that we come out of Christmas with no stock. And importantly, our retailers come out of Christmas with no stock of mulled wine. And that is very, very much helped by the fact that we're producing this locally. If we had a 13, 16-week lead time, we couldn't respond quickly enough. So that's why seasonal products are brilliant to make locally.
That's true. And like mulled wine, right? Like basically, so what data dictated that, okay, this is enough for us to go and make this? Was there enough proof of validation in your listening?
Yes. So we have a market insight guy, Simon Osler, and we buy data, we trawl data, and we do experiments with consumers. We trial different formats. We look at likely demand. we saw Glühwein from Germany was very popular. It was coming in bottled format. And we thought, well, that retailers have to buy that well in advance, ship heavy bottles over. Can we do it in a lower carbon footprint, in a just-in-time method? And that's been a great success. We've grown our mulled wine business every year now for the last 5 years, and it continues to grow. And we do different flavors. Each year we develop, in our laboratory, we're developing lots of different flavors. So spiced clementine this year has overtaken gingerbread. It's going great.
Great. One last one on you pitching national accounts, right?
Yes.
For private labels or just a relationship building. How have you rechanged your deck by including more sustainable stuff, or showing and selling that you are a very pro-sustainability supplier? We
have been very quiet as a company on the sustainability front for many years. We made home brew wine kits in the 1960s, very low carbon footprint. We made fruit wines from Morello cherries next door, in the orchards next door to our winery. So, and then we put bag-in-box in early in the 1980s. So, but in the last few years we've been very quiet on the publicity front. But we've been getting rid of, we've been switching our forklift trucks over from LPG to electric, moving all our lights onto low wattage LED, changing our boilers from oil or gas, switching them over to electric. So we're bringing down the burning of fossil fuels on our site. And we've got to a point now where we feel we can offer a one-stop shop for cutting carbon to retailers. We have a variety of liquids, of decreasing carbon footprint. We have different formats that have different carbon footprint levels, and we have staff that are passionate about advising our customers on what can make the switch. We have in-house design of packaging. We have in-house sourcing of wines and production of wines. We have market research. So we think we can provide a one-stop shop for retailers and regional wholesalers.
Nice. Just the last one on more of a leadership question, right? Like personally, I'm sure you may have planned or did a strategy for 2024, written little notes. Like if I pull your hidden notes, there must be some things you have written that this is how you're going to navigate, right? 2024. What does that look like?
I now have 3 grandchildren. I'm 61. And more for me personally, it's about sustainability. So as I look at 2025, 2024, 25, 26, the carbon footprint, the carbon dioxide levels have gone from 300 parts per million when I was at school in the 1970s. They're now 425 parts per million. And if that continues, as we all know, temperatures are going to rise and we're past the tipping point. So we really have to take action, and I really need to help lead my company and our customers to lower carbon footprints. So I'm hoping that we can do that and make a profit as well.
And I mean, how are you keeping your team optimistic about the wine trade?
I think a couple of things. We're seeing duty rates have decreased for lower alcohol wines and drinks. I think that's a good move for consumption and health, personally. I think it's a good move. And our team are now seeing you can pick grapes a little bit earlier. You can get Pinot Grigio at 11%. You can get White Zinfandels below these points, and it still tastes great. And that's the specialist, wine buyer that we need that helps us do that. So I think our team can see that lower alcohol is good for sustainability, it's good for health, and also I think that wines, the rules that are changing about wines, it's going to be more flexible. There's more flexibility about what you can do with wines. So with sangria, for example, we still have to import a wine because of the name, but we can start making all sorts of products. So it's opening up great avenues for innovation.